She wasn't invited to the meeting. She was just there to deliver a pizza. No one knew she spoke Arabic better than every executive in the room. In just 15 minutes, this delivery woman would save a multi-million-dollar deal and reveal a legacy no one saw coming. Aliyah froze in the executive hallway, the delivery bag heavy on her shoulders, as a man in a gray suit complained about the late pizza with open irritation. Used to being ignored or talked down to, she apologized calmly and entered the conference room, where chaos ruled. Anxious executives, scattered documents, alarming financial charts, and at the center, Victoria Burke, a powerful business leader under immense pressure. A crucial call with Dubai was imminent, and no one present could speak Arabic, the only language the client accepted. As the phone rang again and tension filled the room, Aliyah realized she understood everything being said, memories of her Moroccan grandmother teaching her Arabic flooding back. Despite the surprise and doubt in the room, she stepped forward and revealed her fluency. With steady confidence, she answered the call, speaking perfect formal Arabic, securing time for the negotiation and proving her competence. Though underestimated because of her appearance and job, Aliyah made it clear she would translate, not negotiate, becoming the calm voice that held a multi-million-dollar deal together, embodying the strength of heritage, humility, and quiet intelligence. Aliyah had learned much more than languages from her grandmother Fatima Thompson, known among Moroccan merchants in Detroit, had spent over 30 years managing a discreet spice import business. To Aliyah, she passed on not only Arabic, but also the unwritten rules of negotiation. First, there will be casual conversation, Aliyah explained while reviewing the contract documents. He'll ask about family, health, even the weather. It's not meaningless talk. It's how trust is built. The advisor looked surprised. How can you be so sure? My grandmother negotiated with men like him her entire life. She pointed calmly to a section of the agreement. This clause will cause tension. A 60-day payment term won't be well received. In the Gulf region, 90 days is standard. Anything shorter can be seen as a lack of respect. Victoria, who had entered the room quietly, stopped behind her. How do you know so much about Gulf trade customs? Aliyah turned toward her. My grandmother passed away 2 years ago. She left behind an import business that I tried to keep running. Her voice softened. I failed. I lost everything. That's why I deliver pizza now. The silence that followed was different. It carried no judgment, only understanding. Victoria pulled a chair beside her. Tell me more about this section. For the next 20 minutes, Aliyah explained cultural details no business school had taught. The importance of personal questions, the value of patience, the power of verbal commitment, and the necessity of respectful tone. The executives listened closely, taking notes. Why haven't you worked professionally as a translator? One of them asked. Aliyah gave a small shrug. I tried. I sent applications everywhere. She adjusted her red delivery uniform. But without a university degree, no one looks twice, no matter how many languages you speak. Before anyone could respond, the conference phone rang. The call from Dubai had arrived. Sheikh Al-Rashid's voice came through. Calm, measured, authoritative. He began exactly as Aliyah had predicted, asking about health, family, and the weather in New York. Aliyah translated carefully, preserving tone and intent. Victoria followed her guidance, responding patiently and warmly. Minutes passed before business was mentioned. Some grew restless, but Aliyah understood. In this culture, trust always came first. Finally, the sheikh addressed the contract. When the payment term arose, his voice hardened. 60 days suggested doubt. It implied mistrust. Victoria quickly agreed to revise it to 90 days. Before Aliyah could translate, the sheikh spoke again. Who is the translator? Her voice sounds familiar. Aliyah's heart raced. She introduced herself in Arabic, modestly. My name is Aliyah Thompson. I'm assisting temporarily. There was a pause. Thompson, the sheikh repeated. Are you from Detroit? Yes, sir. Are you the granddaughter of Fatima Al-Fas? The room fell silent. Yes, Aliyah replied quietly. She was my grandmother. The sheikh exhaled deeply. Your grandmother saved my family many years ago. when no one else would help. She trusted us when others turned away. Tears filled Aliya's eyes. She always said kindness wasn't something to remember, Aliya answered softly. It was something to carry in your heart. The sheikh laughed gently. She said those exact words. Aliya, the granddaughter of Fatima, stood in the room wearing her red pizza delivery uniform, her thermal bag resting quietly in the corner, when she calmly explained that she was not employed by the company but had only come to deliver an order. A brief silence followed, until the client surprised everyone by laughing warmly, amused by the irony of Fatima Alas's granddaughter delivering pizza in New York, a reminder that life is often unfair to the most deserving. As Victoria signaled for translation, the man revealed he understood far more English than expected and announced his decision. He would sign the contract under one condition, that Aliya be responsible for all communication between their companies. If she was not included, there would be no deal. Shock filled the room as Victoria admitted Aliya was not an employee, only to hear the simple response, hire her, or the business would go elsewhere. Faced with the weight of years spent working multiple jobs, unanswered applications, and constant rejection, Aliya accepted the offer that changed her life. The client's final words honored her grandmother, whose teachings about language, respect, and trust had shaped everything. What followed was a transformation no one expected. The overlooked delivery worker became Director of International Communications, later traveling to Dubai, discovering her grandmother's quiet legacy, and eventually founding a scholarship to help others from marginalized backgrounds. Standing before a new generation, Aliya reminded them that talent has no uniform, value has no appearance, and sometimes the person who can change everything is already standing in front of us, waiting to be seen. The contract was signed the very next morning. Aliya barely slept that night, not from excitement, but from the fear that it had all been a misunderstanding, a dream too good to be real. Yet at exactly 9 o'clock, Victoria Burke was waiting for her in the lobby, a temporary badge in her hand. "Welcome to Burke International," she said simply. Aliya glanced at her worn shoes, her old delivery bag now replaced by a plain canvas tote. On the outside, nothing seemed different, and yet everything had changed. The weeks that followed were intense. She translated, clarified, and anticipated. She revised emails before they were even sent, adjusted phrasing to prevent cultural misunderstandings, and constantly reminded the team of one essential truth. In some cultures, speed is an insult. Respect takes time. The results came quickly. The partnership with Dubai strengthened, and soon other contracts followed: Doha, Casablanca, Abu Dhabi. With every new negotiation, one name was spoken with growing respect and gratitude: Fatima Al-Fasi. During her first trip to Dubai, Sheikh Al-Rashid invited her to dinner at his home. After the meal, he handed her a small wooden box. "Your grandmother asked me to give you this if you ever came here by your own merit." Inside, Aliya found old letters, faded contracts, and a worn notebook. On the first page, a sentence written in careful handwriting: "The true wealth is opening doors without ever asking who will walk through them." In that moment, Aliya understood that her fall had never been a failure, it had been a detour. Years later, as she stood on stage announcing the creation of the Fatima Thompson Scholarship, designed to support talented individuals without formal degrees but with real skills, her thoughts returned to the day she had walked down a silent hallway carrying a pizza. "I was told for a long time that I didn't fit the profile," she told the audience. But talent has no uniform. Intelligence doesn't need permission. And sometimes, the person who can change everything is already there, just waiting to be seen. Some in the crowd smiled. Others took notes, and somewhere in the quiet respect of the room, Fatima's legacy continued to live on. Months turned into years. Aliya's role at Burke International grew beyond translation. She became the bridge between cultures, a strategist who understood not only language but the subtle rhythms of trust, respect, and human connection. She traveled extensively: Dubai, Casablanca, Riyadh, even Istanbul. Every negotiation, every meeting reminded her of her grandmother's lessons, not written in textbooks, but lived in patience, observation, and empathy. She found herself mentoring young employees, often overlooked, who had skills that no resume could capture. One afternoon, back in Detroit, Alia visited the old neighborhood where her grandmother's spice shop once stood. The building was gone, replaced by a small cafe. Standing in front of it, she felt the weight of her grandmother's presence, the quiet determination that had shaped not only Fatima's life but now hers. She pulled out her notebook, the one Sheikh al-Rashid had given her, and began writing a letter to the students who would receive the Fatima Thompson Scholarship. Talent has no uniform. Opportunity has no schedule. Trust is earned, not granted. You may feel unseen, overlooked, or dismissed. But remember, your skills, your voice, and your heritage matter. Carry them with confidence, and the world will follow your lead. Years later, Alia would see some of those students standing in boardrooms, on negotiation floors, or leading initiatives she had only dreamed of. Each success was a quiet echo of Fatimi's teachings, a reminder that courage and intelligence often come wrapped in humility and patience. And Alia never forgot that day in the conference room, delivering pizza, standing quietly while the world underestimated her. It became her mantra. Sometimes the person who can change everything is already in the room, waiting to be seen. She often smiled at the irony. Life had a way of turning the smallest acts into legacies. And Alia Thompson, once overlooked, had learned that greatness isn't about the uniform you wear. It's about the values you carry and the lives you touch.